Alright guys, so I want to talk about Invention as a skill. I want to make a guide on it. Most of the guides I see, including the in-game tutorial on how to do this skill, make it sound so much more complicated than this skill actually is to train. It's not as hard as everyone makes it sound. I want to break this down to make it sound as easy as it actually is to train. There are a lot of factors that go into Invention, and I get that. But there's really certain main mechanics and main goals, which are the only things that matter. The rest of the, stuff, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it just doesn't really matter at all. So I'm just going to cover the bare basics, but it's going to be enough that if you want to get to 120, everything I tell you will get you to 120 Invention. It is the base on how to train it and how to do the skill. It's very simple. Everybody makes it sound super complicated. It's really not. And our adventure for Invention starts here in Falador. As soon as you unlock Invention, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to Falador. Once you're there, you're going to want to run north. Okay, follow this path to the northeast, past where the highwayman is, and just keep following this path. There you will find the lovely Invention Guild. Alright, so you'll see the big Invention logo on the ground. Now let's go in. So, once you are here, this guy here, Doc, he'll actually be standing like here. You're going to talk to him, and he'll run you through the tutorial. Just pay attention to it. It's very boring, it's very dry, and it makes it sound very complicated. It's not. Follow the tutorial. Once you're done that, he'll give you some things to disassemble, and you can grab the parts bin here and disassemble some of the parts. Great. But now what? Now your goal is to go and make an augmenter. And to do that, you're going to first go to your bench here, and you're going to discover the blueprints. I will put a clip on how to do that later, only because I can't on my main, because I've already discovered everything. But once you get that done, I'm going to go here, and actually he will show you how to do that in the tutorial. So I would say just go ahead, discover all your blueprints you can. It will bring you to level 5 after the tutorial. Okay? Make your augmenter. And to do that, you're going to need these parts. Now, I'll run over what you need to make the augmenter, because it's going to be the main thing you're going to want to make throughout your entire Invention grind. Number 1, base parts. They come from bolts, weapons with hilts, or shields. By far, the best and cheapest and most efficient way to get these, royal bolts. Get about 5,000 royal bolts and just disassemble them all, and you'll have base parts for days. Tinsel and flexible both come from short bows. You're going to want to do short bows for both of those parts. That way it's 2 birds with 1 stone. It's less to worry about. So make sure it's short bows though. Enhancing components are the hardest. They're not hard to get. They're the longest process to get. But they're also the cheapest components in this whole list, which is funny because they're a rare component. What you gotta do, if you from Slayer have unlocked the ability to craft Slayer rings, you go, you get enchanted gems from any Slayer master, you get gold bars, and you turn them into a Slayer ring and disassemble them. I think it costs about 350 GP per ring, and the enhancing components are actually quite common from them. So that's an option. Next best bet is diamond rings. So you could figure out how much they're going to cost per disassemble. It's a lot more than the Slayer rings, and they're the same chance of getting the component. Keep that in mind. Powerful components, they come from normal battle staves, or staves. They're quite common. You buy 100 battle staves, that will set you for like 2-3 augmenters if you're lucky. And then incandescent energy, pretty straightforward. It's just straight from divination. If you have the arc, ancestral energy is actually really, really good for these because it doesn't cost you anything, and you get the augmenters, which is awesome. So, once you have your augmenters, you're going to be thinking, okay, shit, well, now what? The max level you can get an item to is level 5. So, in order to get the best out of what you're given at the beginning, you're going to slap that augmenter into a black salamander. I know that sounds ridiculous, but trust me, black salamander, it uses Harlander Tara's ammo. It's the same as a tier 70 range weapon, and it works basically identically to a crossbow. The reason we're doing those, they're 8k each. They're super cheap, and once you get them to level 5, you just disassemble them. You just throw them away. Now, if you do anything more expensive, like a royal crossbow, you're going to get a little tiny bit more XP, and it's going to be a little faster to level up because it's hitting higher. But you're also spending like 100 times more money because of the fact that you're dumping a royal crossbow plus an augmenter. So keep that in mind. You know, it's both good and bad because, yeah, you're leveling up faster, but at the same time, you're also losing that money. So just start with the salamander. It's once you get enough salamanders, you want to get to level 27. It won't take you that long. 27, you can get things to level 10, which is the most efficient level to disassemble an item. Now, the best items to do are generally, I find personally, I did a lot of royal crossbows because they're easy to make, they're cheap to make, and you could just disassemble them, and they're not that expensive. Plus, they're a tier 80, so they level up pretty quickly, and they give you decent XP. Now, we're going to go a little bit into the mechanics of how disassembling works, and how the XP of disassembling kind of, or the XP of like level gain kind of works, because it's a little different than what most people think. You would think like, oh, I can go murder a bunch of trolls that give me like 45 XP each, and sweet. But Invention's not based off how much XP the monster gives you. So grinding out water fiends is not really a super viable method for training Invention. It's based off damage dealt. So you're either going to want to find something that there's a lot of with a decent amount of HP that you can just kill a lot of at once with melee. For example, I would use my scythe and I would go to Abyssal Demons because that's the best Invention XP for melee. But I find with range, my favorite method is Queen Black Dragon. Now hear me out here. It's based off damage dealt. If you have Banes and the Dragon Slayer perk, you can deal a lot of damage at QBD very quickly, and she has 100,000 HP. So, each kill, you're getting a good amount of Invention XP, and you're running through kills pretty quickly. Since it's based off damage dealt, you can deal a mass amount of damage at QBD. So, it's a very good method, plus you are going to make more money than you spend on augmenters and royal crossbows. You're going to make more back than it costs you to make the thing. So you're going to profit off training your Invention. So that's great. Once you get to level 16 and respectively 45, 16 you can do body armors like, you know, Pernix body, Tetsu body, so on. And at 45 respectively, you can do legs. Here's why combat is considered the most efficient way to train Invention. Not only can you do it with Slayer to level your combat, your Slayer, and your Invention at once, but you're doing 3 items at one time. Whereas with skilling, which we're going to cover in the next video, so I'm not going to get in depth with it at all, but with skilling, you're only leveling 1 item. And granted, combat's not for everybody, and I get that. I'm not much of a combat person myself. I have done a lot of my Invention through skilling. So if that's your thing, don't worry, we're not leaving you out. I'm just going to do it in a separate video because there's a lot of things we have to cover. Basically, where we're at with Invention for combat, to keep this as easy as possible for you guys, is number 1, keep in mind, it's based off damage dealt, and not XP got. So you just want somewhere where you can deal a lot of damage very quickly. And number 2, Just get your siphon or your items to level 10. Now, siphoning is a little different, because with siphoning you can get your stuff to level 12. I don't think I have anything even close to that. Okay, my bow, perfect. My bow is level 12, so I can actually show you a siphon right now, which is awesome. Yeah, so I'm very happy my bow is level 12, because it will allow me to show you the differences between like siphoning and disassembling. They're very different, but they're all in all one and the same. I don't think I have any siphons. I do not. So I'm going to have to go buy some siphons, or at least one for now, which is fine. I'm just going to toss on my max cape here, and I'm just going to go to the max guild because it's the quickest grand exchange. Alright, so when I go here, we have our siphons. So we grab an equipment siphon. Alright, they're like kind of expensive, but at the same time it's not that bad. Now watch, here's why siphoning is great. So I could just disassemble this at level 10. It will give me the same amount of XP, but I don't want to lose my noxious bow. It's very expensive, and if you have something like that where you want to level it but you don't want to lose it, you would siphon it like so, and see, it will say this will consume all item XP from your level 12 augmented noxious bow and will give you 621,000 invention XP, equivalent to disassembling this item at level 10 and using the siphon. The process cannot be undone. Do you wish to continue? Yes. So now I still have the item, it still has all its perks on it, and I got the XP as I would for disassembling it, but I didn't have to lose my noxious bow in the process, which is great. Because then there's no risk to using your high level gear, which is fantastic because you don't want to lose that. Like, who would want to disassemble a noxious bow all the time? That's ridiculous. So you can still get that XP, which is awesome. So once you have those siphons and you get to level 12, that's a very viable method on how to level. Once again, I bring my noxious bow to QBD and I can siphon it a whole bunch of times because I'm leveling it up very quickly. So, overview. To break this down in the simplest way possible, you got to make your augments, augment the item, okay? You then get your item to either level 5, 10, or 12 respectively, depending on what you do. 5 up to level 27 on your black salamanders and disassemble them. Level 10 on your royal crossbows or cheaper items and disassemble at 10. Or if you have something very expensive you don't want to lose, you can siphon it. And that will save you the item. And that will give you your invention XP for combat. And it's based off damage dealt. So to level invention, it's safe to sum it up by saying, deal as much damage as you can, and siphon the items or disassemble respectively at their level. It's that simple. It's not any harder than that. That's it. Perks are a whole other thing, and yeah, they sound a bit complicated. We'll get into those in video 3. For now, all you need to worry about, deal as much damage as possible, siphon or disassemble when necessary. In video 3, I'll go over some more efficient methods on how to train it. I just wanted to go over how to get started, because it sounds a lot more complicated, and it's really not that complicated. You guys can do this. So let me know if I need to improve or go more in depth on something. If I do, you can either hit me up in the comments and say, hey, add me, I have questions, or just ask me in the comments. I'll reply to them. And if you guys have like any feedback on my video, what I can improve on or whatever, let me know. I'm pretty new to this still, so if you can give me any feedback or anything, I'm more than willing to listen. So I hope you guys can grasp Invention. It's really not that hard. You guys can do it. I know you can. It's super easy. It's second nature once you get used to it. It just takes some getting used to. Thank you guys for watching, and once again, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you guys have a great day, and let me know what invention gains you've gotten, or if this video's helped, or things you've accomplished just in Runescape. Just let me know. I want to hear it. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and have yourselves an awesome day.